for those of you I don't know or who don't know me, I'm Lisa Broski, and I'm Vice Chancellor for External Relations for Pima Community College. I am also a United Way donor and Days of Caring volunteer. So I really appreciate everybody being here to learn just a little bit more. You know, I think those of you who've jumped on probably already know something about the United Way and certainly care about its mission. But I think you all know the deep impact that United Way has, not only on our community, but closer to home on our faculty, staff, and students. I think probably, I suspect every day you talk to somebody who has been positively affected by the work of the United Way. And you know, it could be anything from as routine as as your tax return, getting your tax return done every year, getting some help with that, to something profoundly life-changing, which is what we're going to hear a little bit about today, is some of those moments that happen in people's lives. So I really appreciate you being here today, and I'm going to begin by introducing Susan Koza, who is with the United Way. She is our liaison to United Way and is there if you have any questions moving forward, or anything else you want to know. So Susan, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thanks,
and thank you everyone for joining us this morning. We're going to be hearing from two really extraordinary organizations that serve Tucson and Southern Arizona. We're going to first hear from the Diaper Bank with Emily Parker and Hannah Analik. I'll have to say that before I moved to Tucson, I had never heard of a diaper bank. And since moving here, I've learned that our diaper bank here was the first in the nation that is just providing such necessary need, fulfilling a necessary need in our community, because diapers are extraordinarily expensive, and kids go through a lot. So I know that Emily and Hannah are going to be able to speak about their work in a much more effective way than what I can. So I'm going to turn it over to the two of them. And then following their presentation, we'll be hearing from Primavera Foundation. So Emily and Hannah, please.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction. I guess just to introduce ourselves a little bit more before we start. So I'm Hannah. I'm from New Jersey, she, her pronouns, and I am here as an AmeriCorps Vista as outreach coordinator. And my year of service is from July of this year till July of last year. So I am going to be here for a while. And yeah, I'm same role and pretty much same background as Emily from Jersey and everything. But we are in charge of diaper drives and just outreach and education and awareness. And we're really excited to be here. We have a presentation that we're going to show you.
And yeah, as Hannah said, I'm Emily. I'm also from New Jersey. I'm also an AmeriCorps Vista, serving as outreach coordinator. But I actually started last November, and I'm sharing the screen. Yeah. I actually started last November, and so I'm in my final week of service now. 1 week from today is my last day at the diaper bank. So yeah, I'm really glad though. Hannah's taking over. So she's a great person to reach out to for future communications, since she'll be here a bit longer. And we're gonna share our screen now. So give us a thumbs up if you can see our Prezi.
Cool.
Great. And we also, just before we begin, did want to thank the United Way for this opportunity and other speaking opportunities they've given us. We received a lot of support from the United Way over the years, especially recently. We received some of the emergency COVID funding from them to help us meet the increased need, which we'll be talking about. And we've also just worked with the United Way doing different community events for the community, helping to hand out diapers and period supplies for United Way's Days of Caring.
We have our
yeah, these are, maybe you can't see, but a lot of these beautiful bracelets that volunteers make with handwritten notes. And that's a program that we do. In normal times, we'll use them at any sort of outreach fair to kind of attract, it's something beautiful to display on our table, it attracts attention, and then we give them as a thank you gift to donors. And we had a bunch of volunteers come in and make those and help us bundle diapers. So I feel like we have a strong relationship and we're appreciative of that.
So now to get started with a little bit about the diaper bank. As you can see here, we're going to talk about the need in our community, what the diaper bank does to address it, so our impact, and then further ways that you can get involved and just continue the volunteer work that's being done and continue to learn. So first, the need. So like Susan said, similarly to her, Emily and I had both never heard of a diaper bank really until we got to Tucson and started working here. And if we had, we really didn't know what the diaper bank did. But the name diaper bank can be a little misleading sometimes because we actually provide 3 products and 3 services. So we provide baby diapers, adult incontinence supplies, and period products. And we're going to talk a little bit about the need for all 3 of those services here. So for baby diapers, 1 in 3 US families experience diaper need. And so what is diaper need? It's just the lack of ability to provide enough hygiene supplies and enough diapers to keep your baby clean and supported all the time. And so, yeah, so 1 in 3 families, when you really think about that number, that's a lot of families experiencing diaper need in our country. And the effects of it go beyond just health. So they go beyond diaper rash and UTIs and other health effects. Most childcare centers, even free and reduced cost ones, require parents to provide a day's supply of disposable diapers with their baby. And so you can see that like the spiraling effects of that. If a family can't provide those diapers, child doesn't get the early childhood education, they don't get the socialization, a parent might have to miss work. A family might ration diapers throughout the weekend to make it to daycare day. So there's a lot of different effects that can come from just not having diapers beyond the health effects. And then in terms of the family, research has tied diaper need to maternal stress and depression, even more so than it has tied maternal stress and depression to food insecurity. And so I think that's a very kind of just moving fact and really says a lot about that the need is just so great, but often overlooked.
And adult incontinence. When we started a diaper bank, or when our organization started a diaper bank, people started asking, well, do you take adult supplies as well? And we said, yes. And so now adult incontinence supplies are a significant portion of our distribution as well. And just like diaper need, the need for adult supplies and youth supplies is really great. Incontinence issues are a lot more common than one might think. At least 25 million Americans, although incontinence is something that, because there is so much stigma around it, it does end up going underreported. A lot of folks don't talk to their doctors about it. And incontinence supplies may be used by people with a variety of health conditions, whether chronic or a temporary condition. I often get phone calls from people who are going through cancer treatment and are dealing with incontinence for the first time. And obviously they already have so many other new medical bills to be covering. Some folks have certain disabilities that incontinence isn't necessarily a symptom of that disability, but public restrooms are inaccessible to them. So to go about and lead a normal day, that might be their best option. So just a big diverse demographic who use these supplies in varying amounts. And just like diaper need, need for incontinence supplies also has a lot of impacts beyond just, the immediate need. About 90% of patients who have some sort of incontinence report feeling isolated, depressed, or hopeless as a result of their condition. This could have to do with the stigma around the condition and also just the lack of resources, since we don't talk about it. And this is something that I find really shocking, that incontinence is at least the second leading cause of institutionalization in nursing homes. Meaning, when asking why adults were placed into a nursing home, older adults, the second leading reason is because of incontinence. But incontinence is not a condition that limits someone's independence. Incontinence on its own can be healthfully managed. All you need are the right supplies. But again, there's kind of this, we think a lot of families maybe react really strongly if they have a parent who suddenly is experiencing incontinence and doesn't know how to manage it or don't have the supplies to manage it. That can be a big stressor on families. And yeah, but basically incontinence supplies, really, we see them as more than just, a basic hygiene product. We see them as essential to supporting independence for independent adults.
And so now I'm going to talk about our third and final service, period products. And so 1 in 4 U.S. menstruators experience period poverty. So if you're not getting the picture yet, these problems are really apparent in our community and our nation, and they're just not talked about as that much. And so 1 in 4 U.S. menstruators experience period poverty every year, and similar to diaper need, period poverty is the lack of ability to have enough period products to successfully manage your cycle every month. And again, following the same pattern that we just talked about, the effects extend beyond the immediate need once again. So besides just not having the right supplies, maybe using something that isn't healthy or hygienic to manage your period, it can lead to missing work, school, similar events, social events. And so, so 1 in 5 low-income women report missing an event similar to that due to lack of access to period supplies. And so while 1 in 4 women experience period poverty every year, only 4% of women are aware of a local resource where free or reduced cost period supplies are available. So 25% experiencing period poverty, only 4% able to access free or reduced cost supplies. So again, the need is so great. And while maybe not as much as adult incontinence, period poverty and menstruation are still taboo in our society sometimes to talk about. There's still, a stigma around maybe a menstruator feeling uncomfortable talking about that to someone else, or, there's still the stigma, and we all know menstruators here know what it's like to not have the adequate supplies when you're out in public or at work or at school. And so just to not be able to have that chronically you can imagine can lead to a lot of different feelings of stress and effects on your daily life.
Yeah, and I would also add, I think everyone now these days can relate to what running out of toilet paper, or even if you didn't run out, having toilet paper insecurity. And toilet paper really is just a basic hygiene supplies to manage our personal hygiene. And so then obviously parents and folks who use these other supplies, it's an equivalent type of supply. It's just that toilet paper is the only one that everybody uses and everyone can relate to.
Good point. And so we like to remind ourselves that these statistics were national, but that in Pima County, the poverty rate is 40% greater than the US poverty rate. So we can assume that the need is either the same or larger here in our own community, which is just kind of shocking to think about. But 1 in 3 babies in Pima County are born into poverty. 1 in 5 seniors in Tucson live below the poverty line. And females ages 18 to 24 are the largest demographic living in poverty in Pima County. And to me, that statistic is really interesting, because when you think about females ages 18 to 24, that's a huge demographic. That's high school students, college students, graduates, parents, single mothers, working class, it's such a large demographic. And so to me, that just shows that there's so much opportunity to help in our community, and so many people that just need these products.
Yeah, and when you think of statistically, diapers and menstrual products, our supplies are statistically, for the most part, supporting young women, is a big demographic benefiting from our supplies. Although, of course, we also think it's important to hold up single fathers, male heads of household, and people of different gender identities who use menstrual supplies. So, all of these products can really be used by anyone, but definitely young women are overrepresented in terms of poverty, and are statistically going to be receiving a lot of our supplies. So now we've talked about the need, which I think Hannah and I both commented on. We were surprised by how big the need is in our country and our community, and how far-reaching the effects of these, hygiene supplies that we don't always like to talk about really are. So what is the Diaper Bank of Southern Arizona doing? What is our impact in these areas? Well, the Diaper Bank of Southern Arizona is the leading organization addressing diaper, incontinence, and period supplies need in our region. As was mentioned earlier, Tucson actually boasts our nation's first diaper bank. The diaper bank movement, if you will, was born here in Tucson in 1994 when Resolve Inc., a small Tucson firm, organized their first December diaper drive. And this was to benefit a local crisis nursery, after someone at the company had kids in the nursery and realized that what we talked about earlier, that diaper need could mean taking your kids out of the nursery. And so this December diaper drive started. It gained a lot of momentum. And by 2000, this December diaper drive was such a big program that it really needed to become its own organization. And the Community Diaper Bank of Southern Arizona was established, making it our nation's first diaper bank. And other diaper banks around the country actually started following the model established here in Tucson, our model of collecting diapers and then redistributing the diapers to partner agencies throughout the community who were already serving families who needed diapers, who were already offering great services and could offer diapers as part of a network of services. And so in 2011, following meetings between our diaper bank here, 3 fellow diaper banks that had been established in other parts of the country, and also leadership of the Huggies Corporation, the National Diaper Bank Network began operation. And the National Diaper Bank Network serves to this day as a network for resource sharing. When I get calls from people from other parts of the country asking about how could my company support a diaper bank, but we're based out of New York, or where can I find diapers for my client, but I'm based out of LA, I can point them to the National Diaper Bank Network to find a local community resource. And also, we just recently had the National Diaper Bank Network conference online this year. Normally it's in DC. And also because of that partnership with Huggies, as a member diaper bank, we benefit from Pathway to Provide. So Huggies and now some other corporations too can provide us with severely reduced cost diapers. Sometimes at certain sizes, we are able to get an entire truckload of diapers and we're essentially paying the cost of shipping. And so the National Diaper Bank Network also just really helps us to multiply our community's generosity. And today, the Diaper Bank of Southern Arizona currently has a little over 40 partner agencies who are located throughout Tucson and Southern Arizona. And the National Diaper Bank Network now has over 200 community diaper banks nationwide in all 50 states. And should I mention period supplies or?
Yeah.
And also in 2018, didn't fit on this slide, but we began menstrual supplies distribution. The Alliance for Period Supplies was founded and operates on a model similar to the National Diaper Bank Network. The corporate sponsor of Alliance for Period Supplies is Kotex, which is actually owned by the same Kimberly-Clark brand as Huggies. So it's a similar model where it has helped us to get access to reduced cost Kotex supplies and has also put us in touch with resources, and we're now able to provide some of our partner agencies with menstrual products as well to especially support students and other vulnerable populations.
So the diaper bank distributes 1.3 million diapers every year, and that's including baby diapers and adult incontinence supplies. And as Emily mentioned, that's through partner agencies throughout Southern Arizona. So there's over 40 partner agencies in 10 counties, and that number is just continuing to grow. And like Emily said, we really like that we're able to provide people with supplies closer to their home and in a wide range of social services beyond just hygiene supplies. And we distribute 150,000 period supplies annually. So like we said, that's a newer program, so it's still growing, but definitely a really important and rich part of our history and our services here. Advocacy is also a large part of the diaper bank. So as you can maybe see behind us, the mission of the diaper bank is to provide diapers and continence supplies and period products to people in need in our community. But the vision is a community where there is no diaper need or period poverty. And so that is, advocacy is the path towards that. And so we advocate for ending the pink tax, which is the tax on baby formula, diapers, and period products. In Arizona, those products are seen as luxury items rather than necessary hygiene supplies. And so the tax on that is sometimes what the amount of money is that people fall short each month when they're in experiencing diaper need or period poverty. So that's just something that we definitely advocate for as well. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, sure. And then also talking about more sustainable solutions and really eliminating the need, education on sustainable alternatives. So we do have a cloth diaper program, and this year we started a reusable period supplies program as well. So most of you are probably familiar with cloth diapers, and then reusable period supplies basically look like cloth pads. Really, yeah, and menstrual cups as well. So cloth pads, which really they're just designed now in a more modern way that's more convenient and kind of modeled after the way that disposable pads were designed, and then menstrual cups as well. And we're able to distribute cloth diaper kits as well as sample menstrual cups and cloth pads we give free educational 1-hour webinars to the community that anyone can come to and learn more about these products, because I think with a lot of these, it's like if your mom didn't use them, if your parents didn't use them, if you're not familiar with them, that might be a barrier to access. And then also the upfront cost of these supplies. If you're struggling to afford diapers each month, the cost of investing in a reusable diaper kit is going to be a greater cost, even though long-term it's going to save your family a lot of money. So anyone who comes to one of those webinars and has demonstrated that real interest in the product and understanding of how to use it, then as long as they are financially eligible for our services and live in our Southern Arizona community, we're happy to give them a free kit. And that's something we're really happy to be able to provide as well.
And just like really quickly, we're running out of time, but just quickly want to say that like something that our supervisor always says about sustainable alternatives is that it's just like, obviously there's the environmental impacts that are beneficial, but there's, it's really just about like what works best for a family. And so being able to give that option of the cloth kits and disposable kits is something that like we definitely are happy to be able to do. But that was just a quick note. So yeah. To go into the COVID-19 impact that we've had, we touched on that a bit with the United Way before. But really, again, to talk about United Way, we wouldn't have been able to meet the increased need demonstrated by COVID without it, without United Way. And so, as you can see here, from March of 2019 to 2020, we had a 73% increase in distributions, and that's even with some partner agencies not operating in person anymore. So the need is growing as, as COVID is just continuing now to rise again. Like we expect that need to continue to grow again. So definitely has had an impact on our community. And so now that we've talked about the need and what we do, we're just going to give you some quick and so a few main ways that you can get involved and continue to help. And so like you can see on the side there, being involved in volunteering has a lot of benefits beyond the immediate help that we get here at our organization. We think that they're fun and they help drive our mission forward. And really even just this, education and learning and spreading awareness is important to us as well.
So volunteer opportunities, if you wanted to come in yourself, organize a group to come in, or especially maybe if you know some students who would be interested in a more part-time, long-term volunteer opportunity, maybe something that would be eligible for internship credit. We take volunteers in our warehouse. We really rely on volunteers to bundle all of our diapers and prepare them for distribution. And that's a pretty fun group activity. You can listen to music while you do it, get competitive about how many diapers you bundled in 3 hours. And then we also need office volunteers, folks to help at our front desk, to interact with clients, to help us with different clerical tasks. And Hannah and I are even really interested in recruiting a social media volunteer to help with outreach, especially as I'm about to leave. And so there's a lot of different levels of volunteering on site with us.
And that's all through the Golden app, which is sponsored by United Way.
Yeah,
So
you can find us
again.
through the Golden app.
And now organizing. So you're already doing this on some level by all being here today as a group, but if there are opportunities to get your community and your group involved as a whole. So diaper drives, which can be in person or virtual now, and just, continuing to have these education sessions and awareness raising sessions for maybe another club or group that you're involved in. And just, continuing to, like we said, get your organization involved through these outreach initiatives and diaper and education raising events. We, like you can see here, it's fun and it's something that I definitely enjoy doing, at least because I love just like being able to talk to different groups of people in the community and see how our organization's mission really somehow usually aligns with theirs as well.
And finally, Connect. This is our ambassador program. Hannah and I, a big part of our role has been developing this ambassador program, which is still growing. And these are, if you or you know someone who might make a really good advocate, community advocate for our organization, our ambassador team meets monthly. It's a social and energizing kind of experience. We're doing in-person and virtual monthly gatherings right now. And the purpose of the ambassador team is, as a group, we inspire, we share resources, and as individuals, based on our personal strengths, based on our position in the community, we come up with projects or different goals for ourselves to accomplish, maybe 2 to 3 goals throughout the year that will amplify the diaper bank in some way, that will help with outreach and or community-based fundraising. It's all about reaching out into our community. So if you are interested or you know someone who might be interested in joining our ambassador program, Hannah's your main contact person. If you are interested in hosting a diaper drive or a period supplies drive, or doing that virtually, Hannah's your girl. And if you're interested in one of the volunteer opportunities, that would be through the Golden app, or you can email Elizabeth, our volunteer coordinator.
And I'll put those emails in the chat as well. So, yeah.
So thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
No, that was fantastic. Thank you. That was really interesting. I learned a lot. Appreciate you sharing.
Yeah, and I think it's very easy to see why the diaper bank is such a strong community partner with United Way. So thank you both for doing such important work throughout Southern Arizona.
I think Carla had a quick question.
Carla has a question.
Yes, I'm an academic success counselor at PIMA, so I'm just wondering, how do we refer people?
So the easiest way, you mean to get diapers or get supplies?
Yes.
So the easiest way to do that is to go to our Facebook page. You can press the tab that says Get Diapers, and then you'll see like a map of all the distribution partner agencies, and then also a list. So you can call them and see if there's any requirements for getting supplies there, like if you have to be either like a member of that agency or if you can show up at any time. But yeah, you can find which ones are closest to home through that list. And then we also can do a once a month emergency supplemental distribution here at the diaper bank. Someone would just need to bring in their birth certificate for the child and some form of financial eligibility and ID. And so, yeah, that's a 1 month kind of emergency distribution, but what's easiest is probably going to be to go to that Get Diapers tab on the Facebook page and then seeing the list of partner agencies.
Yeah, if you're trying to kind of sort of in like a caseworker role, refer people, or we always just, if you go to diaperbank.org, there's a red button, need assistance ? And there it's more for individuals because we'd ask for some basic demographic info, but then we give you that same list. If people come here, we'll also give them the list of partner agencies. So we'll be like, we don't want you to leave empty-handed since we do have a warehouse full of diapers, but if we gave those if we were trying to meet everybody's full need, we would run out, in a month. So we're really just trying to do supplemental to help people get through the month.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we move on? Okay. All right, thank you both again. So our next presentation is with Primavera Foundation, Eric Cross and Annette Pasquera. I think it's very apparent after the Diaper Bank's presentation that poverty is an extreme issue in our community. And I'm so pleased that Primavera Foundation could be with us today. Primavera Foundation, again, is one of our very important partners with United Way. And Eric will share information, and Annette is going to share a very, very powerful her own personal story. So Eric and Annette, thank you for being with us.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Very first thing is we want to thank the United Way for supporting Primavera's mission. And thank you, Susan, for getting this coordinated and having us involved this morning. Primavera's mission is since 1983, Primavera has provided pathways out of poverty through safe, affordable housing, workforce development, and community engagement. And the unique continuum of success, it's like a continuum of services, but we call it a continuum of success, is very, very broad. And so I'm going to share my screen and show you the continuum of success, which normally would take an hour to be able to describe all the various programming and everything we do, but I'm going to do my best in about 15 minutes to give you the highlights of the Primavera. So I'm going to first share my screen. I just learned how to do this. Whoops. And there we go. This is our continuum of success. And the continuum is survival, stability, security, and sustainability. So I'm going to start right up at the survival services, because the first program that was started in 1983 by Gordon Packard and Nancy Bissell was our men's shelter. But I'll go down this list, starting with homelessness intervention and prevention drop-in center. The highlight and paramount component of our HIP program is that anybody can receive their mail there. Anybody can go in and register to receive your mail there. And you can even call in advance to find out whether you have mail. So you don't have to go all the way across town, especially if you don't have any transportation and so on. It's a really handy service. The other thing that happens in HIP is food boxes are provided, hygiene products are provided, bus passes, rent and utility assistance, and then of course, case management assistance for all types of shelter services and rapid rehousing. Next, I'm going to go down to the Casa Paloma Women's Hospitality Center and Residence is our women's drop-in center, which is open 6 days a week. And it's a drop-in center for women to be, it's a hybrid with the front of the building is a drop-in center for women to be able to get out of the weather, whether it be inclement or not. Women can get clothing items there, they can get hygiene products there, and they can meet with the case manager to be able to find, to get other services in the community, find out what else is available for housing, employment, etc. Then going down again, then the next thing on the continuum there is our men's shelter. Now, it normally, because I heard that term used earlier, normally we would have up to 100 men can stay in the shelter each night. But because of the pandemic, we have a limit of 32 men in order to be able to provide social distancing, etc., to keep everybody safe with health and so on. Then there's the Project Action for Veterans, which is our mostly funded by the Veterans Administrations for anybody that is a veteran to be able to seek getting a DD-214, which is an honorable discharge paperwork, which is very much necessary for veterans to be able to get into a lot of programs because they require an honorable discharge. So we have case management assistance in being able to get DD-214s and any kind of medical services and assistance with employment and housing, which would include being able to assist someone that has a DD-214, a deposit and up to 3 months rent while they get their life situation worked out for whether it's Social Security, disability, income, or getting employment. And now I'm going to jump over to the stability component of our continuum. And then, as it says there, affordable rental housing. Primavera has 11 properties maintained by Primavera, where each of the properties has their own leasing manager. And then there's also case management assistance for people that are in any one of our properties to be able to get assistance in all areas. And we have affordable housing where we can give a lot of assistance in being able to put down a deposit and so on. Next is our Primavera Works Staffing Services, which is a social enterprise, where in normal circumstances, we would be providing lots of temporary and permanent employment. We also would provide all kinds of classes where volunteers come in and teach job readiness skills and getting resume writing, etc., in order to be able to get ready for employment. At Primavera Works, one of the hallmark components to that program is water harvesting. So anybody who gets involved with Primavera's Works program can learn all the aspects of water harvesting, where as soon as they're finished with the program, can go out and get a job in the community in water harvesting, which is very important in the city of Tucson because water is an extremely valuable resource, obviously. And then the second chance restorative justice, along with the civil rights restoration, is for felons that are trying to get their voting rights back. And so we have a lot of assistance in being able to get that done. I'm going to jump down now to the security component, where we provide financial education and empowerment, which we have coaching and credit repair and financial empowerment classes where a lot of volunteers come in, and normally we provide the classes right at our facility, but right now we're doing everything remotely, obviously just like we're doing today. And we provide all these classes remotely for the financial education empowerment and our home buyers education program as well. And there's the home buyer counseling, home buyer post-purchase classes, and of course our affordable home ownership opportunities. All right, so I'm going to jump to sustainability. Obviously, it says there neighborhood revitalization, which includes community development and planning, multifamily rental housing, and that's very much referring to in the downtown area and the city of South Tucson, where we have the 11 properties maintained by Primavera. That is what that is referring to mostly. And a lot of green initiatives, such as we're trying to, the city of South Tucson is trying to connect up to the Huckleberry Loop, which is the big bicycle pathway on the river parks all around Tucson. So the Primavera is assisting in the green initiative to try to do a greenway through the city of South Tucson to hook up to the Huckleberry Loop. That's a current one we're trying to get moving forward. Community building and engagement. That's the annual homeless memorial that we get set up and assist in being able to recognize people that have been homeless and lost their lives during the year. We also have at one of our properties where we have an apartment complex called Las Abuelitas, we have an after-school program that is free as well. I'm going to jump down to community gardens. Primavera has a number of community gardens where we have at our apartment complexes, as well as some of our other buildings, where we get the community involved in coming and cleaning and being able to plant their own food in the garden, whether it be at their apartment complex. We allow everyone within the area to be able to use our community gardens. And Primavera, of course, is a big advocate for everything to do with low income and homelessness. And we're always trying to be able to find any way to be able to assist with that. Now, having said all that, I wanted to give an opportunity, because it is now not perfect timing on my part for 15 minutes. So I'm going to introduce Annette. And before I finish, I want everyone to know it's very easy to communicate with Primavera Foundation. Everything, you can access all our services through primavera.org is our website, or calling our main number 882-5383 and simply asking for Eric Cross. And by the way, on my screen it says Jason Cross. That's my son. I'm sorry about that, everybody, but I'm Eric Cross, not Jason Cross. But nevertheless, 882-5383 and ask for me, and I can get you guided to wherever you need to go. So anyway, I'm going to allow Annette to go ahead and do her thing. Annette Pesquera is my teammate in the philanthropy department. I'm extremely proud to work with her. She's a great colleague to work with. So I'm so glad you're here today, Annette.
Thank you so much, Eric. It's always amazing to sit back. I hadn't seen this presentation in a while of like the whole continuum, and it's just so amazing what Primavera does on the daily. So thank you so much for listening to all of this. Thank you to the Diaper Bank. That is really, like, with the feminine hygiene issues, like, it's so hard sometimes. So I'll probably be reaching out. So thank you so much. So like I said, Annette Pesquera, mother of 3 wonderful little boys. They're 8, 10, and 13 years old at the moment. It keeps changing every year. I have to keep up. I'm like, oh yeah, this one's 14, 11. Oh my goodness. Introduced to Primavera about 5.5 years ago. I was 24 years old at that time. I was working custodial work, trying to get a job somewhere appropriate. I graduated high school. I do have a high school diploma, but I never really had a chance to find a good place to that would take me without experience. So my dream job has always been clerical. Like, I understand it. I really enjoy working. What I do right now as a donation specialist, it's a lot of data entry and all that fun stuff. So when I was working clerical, I decided it was overnight, so it was really hard. So I thought, okay, a call center. I got a fair job at a call center because it's not, ideal. It's really hard. When I was working there, I actually was part of a program and was laid off. So I think I was like safer at my custodial work than when I tried to make that, move upward. So I thought about continuing school at that time. I was just, I wanted to be, I've always dreamed about going to the U of A or just some college, because it's not really popular in my family that, like my brother and my mother never pursued their college. So I would be the first one. And for my children especially, I wanted to set that example. But my mom, it's like a cycle. She was undocumented. I was raised by her when she was undocumented. And she would say to me when I told her about the school idea, she's like, you need to maintain a roof over your family's head, and you need to, find a job that's gonna secure. So like, why are you even thinking of school right now? It's kind of like her perspective. And that's kind of part of a cycle of poverty that I realized that, you know, it's not necessarily that one wants to do, but it's just the thoughts and ideas that we were brought up with. Like, you gotta work, you gotta work. It probably wasn't an option for her either. So it was just kind of like, you gotta do this for your family. So that's when I decided I need to make a change. I enrolled into Carrington College to pursue a medical billing and coding certificate. So like I said, it was the first generation. I was so pumped up when I started. While I was doing school, I obtained a job as a Spanish interpreter, and that was wonderful. It was a call center too. I was kind of skeptical about it, but it worked at the moment. You know, everything was kind of, I was so optimistic. I started volunteering, and like I started just wanting to see what I can do to enhance my skills and whatnot. So I reached out to start volunteering, and Primavera was the first one to respond back to me through volunteermatch.org. It was just like, hey guys, you know, I need to do something. And they called me right away. And when I went into the office, it was something totally different than when I started working, as I started helping with data entry, but I don't even remember what I had gone there for originally. It was totally different. So I then again, with the call center situations, not stable at all. I lost my job. I was living in a mobile home. Since I can remember, I was an infant, and I faced eviction due to that. So I was having a really rough time trying to go to school, trying to maintain all of these things. And that happened, unfortunately. So when my mother remarried and all that, I just decided to stay there. She left the trailer to me with no documents or anything. So it wasn't really mine. I was just living there, and it was just horrible. I couldn't maintain it. It was just a lot of work, you know, to a who knows how old mobile home. The ceiling was falling down, evaporative cooling, you know, the water would just, it was horrible, horrible. And Joanne Salazar, our chief philanthropy officer, she reached out to me and said, let's have lunch. She's the one that I was working for data entry for as a volunteer. So she's like, let's go have lunch, you know, let's just chat. Tell me a little bit about yourself. And I really don't know how to reach out and ask for resources. So that was like a blessing in disguise. Like, let's go talk. And I'm over here. We went to talk and I was like, oh my God, like my world is falling apart. You know, when she asked me, I was like, I don't know what to do. And she said, you know what, I think we have a program that can help you. So I started a rapid rehousing program and was finally in a livable place with AC. Never in my life had I lived in a place with AC. So that was like a huge. I finished school, thankfully. And I went through all of this through the school. They were so supportive, and I was able to finish. I didn't finish as I planned in the beginning, but I did finish, and they asked me to speak in the class, and just my children were there with their ties and their shirt. They were just adorable. I just felt so amazing. And that's when like my whole life just took a positive turn. Joanne Salazar offered me this position because the former donations coordinator was moving on. So she's like, hey, you know, I know you're going to do big things and you're going to go in medical billing and coding, but would you care to you know, join us here at Primavera? And my heart dropped. I was like, it's like a dream, you know, I loved it. I said yes right away. And now I've maintained a professional job for 4 years, a wonderful place. I mean, this place is just amazing. The support, my children have been part of the kids after school program, a las abuelitas, and they've been part of the gardening programs, and they've grown crops and, you know, just amazing experiences. And I'm also part of the Arizona Fundraising Professionals Young Professional. So I'm working to get my certifications, and I'm like new to the gig, but I'm so excited. Next week also, so like things are just still keep coming. I'm getting close to the end, but I start next week through the Her Family program, which is a financial education slash working towards my home ownership program. So I start next week this program that's called IDA. It's an amazing program that if anybody knows about, you save up to $5,000. It has its requirements, but you save up to $5,000 on the match it. So I'll walk out with $20,000 for a home. So I start that next week, and it's so amazing that I'm continuing to like share this success, and I can't wait to see what life brings to me. So that's really amazing. And not last but not least, I give back now because I've been helped. I have that ability to just take this little bit off of my paycheck, thank you for what you've done, and thank you for what you're doing for the community, because I experience it on a daily basis, and I get to work with amazing foundations like the Diaper Bank, and just like share resources to it, because I have a lot of friends that are in need, and know a lot of people. So it's been amazing what Primavera has done for me and my family, and it's thank you for listening to my story. I get so excited when I listen to others, so I know every story has a meaning. So thank you so much for your time, and yes, please don't hesitate to ask any questions if we have like a minute left.
We do.
Annette,
Annette, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Lisa, for jumping over you.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say thank you. That was so powerful. And thank you for sharing. I know it takes a lot to share a personal story like that, but we learned so much, and we were so happy for you. Susan.
She's a great colleague. I'm telling you, she does really good work.
I can tell.
Yeah. Annette, this is the second time I've heard your story, and I just am so impressed with what you've done in your life, and I think you're a real inspiration. So before we conclude, does anyone have any questions for either Eric or Annette? Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I hope this gives you more insight into the impact that United Way. Oh, that's so sweet.
This is the baby. Sorry, he was trying to walk in.
Oh,
okay.
I'm glad you joined us. This gives you a good idea of the impact that United Way has in our community. By supporting United Way, you are supporting agencies like the Diaper Bank and Primavera Foundation. So again, we say thank you. Our next Impact Tour will be on November 18th with the Goodwill, the REC program, and United Way's own Cradle to Career. So we hope that you join us on November the 18th. So.
And I just also want to thank everybody for joining us, and especially thank you to our special guests. I know I learned a lot, and it makes me feel really I always felt good about my donation to United Way, but really seeing the impact of it, I think I'm going to have to scooch up that amount this year. So thank you all very much. We appreciate it.
All right, everyone have a great day.
Take care.
Susan. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. Bye now.